Step your feet together and raise your arms overhead, clasping your hands together. Next, I want you to grab your right hand and lean to the left. You should be actively pushing your shoulders down. Your knees should not be locked but slightly bent, and you should be tilting your rib cage upward to the ceiling. Look to the ceiling if you want to get a deeper stretch in your rib cage, and hold each side for about 10 breaths. We use breaths because breathing deeply during stretches brings more oxygen to the muscle groups and helps you get deeper into the stretch. When you're finished with both sides, clasp your hands together overhead, creating an L shape with your index finger and your thumb. Actively press your shoulders down and create space in between your rib cage by pulling your ribs up and in. Now actively look to the ceiling and begin your standing back bend. Hold this for about 5 breaths. When you're finished with your back bend, step your feet out to about hips width distance apart. Bend your knees and begin to swing your upper body from side to side while actively pressing your shoulders down. This is a dynamic stretch for your spine. Snake your head forward to back. Go as far forward and as far back as you can. You can actually use your hands to press onto your thighs. That will give you a little help coming forward and back. Next is our standing separate leg forward fold series. Start with your legs just a little bit wider than your hips this time. Place your palms on the ground and begin to bend and straighten your knees while contracting your spine and your head to the ground while you bend your knees. Next, we'll stretch the front of your shoulders by clasping your hands behind your back and use your grip to actually pull your arms down to the ground. Actively still press your shoulders down and keep your core tight. The weight should be on the outsides of your feet and your knees should be slightly bent. Next, use your opposite hand to grab your opposite ankle. This time, use your free hand to reach in between both of your legs and behind your opposite leg to grab onto your calf. If you can, try to fit your head through the gap in between both your arms and look to the ceiling. Use your strength to pull your body deeper into a twist and hold for 5 breaths. Once you've held in this twist, come back to center, use your other hand to grab the opposite ankle, and repeat this twist on the other side. Moving on to all fours, we're going to do our cat and cow sequence. Make sure that your knees are about hips width distance apart, and I want you to snake your head up and then contract your head and your entire spine down. This is a really good dynamic warm-up for the spine. Next is our hand sequence. Start on all fours. One at a time, outwardly rotate your hands so that the insides of your wrists are facing away from your body and press down. If you're a level 1, make sure to stay with your shoulders over your wrists. If you're a level 2, you can begin to start sitting back onto your feet, keeping your wrists in the same position. If you're a level 3, sit all the way back onto your feet. Hold this for 5 breaths. Next, come back to all fours and flip your hands over so your palms are facing upwards. Keep your shoulders over your wrists and actively press your shoulders down as you press the tops of your wrists into the ground. If you're a level 1, stay here, but if you're a level 2, 3, once again, begin to make your way to seated on your feet. Next, we have Sphinx pose. Start laying on your stomach and walk your hands onto your elbows. Make sure that your elbows are directly below your shoulders. Reach your head to the back wall and begin to bend each leg one at a time. Remember to actively press your shoulders down and lift up in your rib cage. Bend each leg about 10 times and then hold for 5 breaths. If you're a level 2, 3, you can actually walk yourself up onto your hands and do the same action. Make sure to actively press your shoulders down and lift up into your ribcage. Next, we'll do deep stretch Sphinx pose at the wall. Start on your stomach with both of your knees touching the wall. If you're a level 1, start on your elbows and make sure you have elbow to shoulder alignment. Try to make your way to your hands and begin to walk your hands back towards your body and arch your back so that your head falls just above your feet. Hold this for 5 breaths. After you've held for 5 breaths, if you're not already on your elbows, walk your hands back down to your elbows, bring your legs together, and begin to kick your feet back and forth. This will release the tension that you just created in your back. Next is camel pose. Start by standing on your knees. Your legs should be hip-width distance apart. Place both hands onto the backs of your hips as if you're going to push your hips forward. Now press your shoulders down and begin to actively push your hips forward. Take a deep inhale, lift up in your ribcage, and begin your back bend. Level 1, keep your hands where they are. And when you reach your lowest point, you can drop your head to the back. Level 2, I want you to come into the posture in the same way that level 1 did, but this time, when you push your hips forward, reach back to grab the backs of your heels with your hands. Your hands should be outwardly rotated to grab onto the backs of your heels. Now, press your hips forward even further. Remember to press your shoulders down. You should feel a lot of pressure in the front of your shoulders. Next is rabbit pose. Start seated on your knees. Now outwardly rotate your hands so that you can grip the back of both of your heels. You might need to shift your weight forward to create space for your hands. Now grabbing firmly onto both of your heels, begin to contract your spine forward. The objective here is to actually reach your forehead to your knees. This posture is meant to open your upper back, so really try to use your grip around your heels to go deeper into the posture. Take a few moments in child's pose. You can do this pose with your knees apart or together. Just make sure that you're seated on your feet the entire time. Next, we'll do a tricep stretch in child's pose. So you can stay here, but just flip your hands so that your palms face the ceiling and begin to bend and straighten your arms so that your hands touch the nape of your neck each time. Hold at the end for 10 breaths. Next is puppy pose. Unfold your arms and reach your hands forward so you're back into a child's pose. But this time, walk your knees in a little bit closer together. Use your hips to push your body forward and slide your chest down to the ground. Knees should be hips width distance apart, and the bottom of your chin should be planted firmly on the ground. Hold here for 10 deep breaths. You can also do another variation of this posture at the wall. Place both palms on the wall, straighten both arms, and walk your hands so your hands are just above your shoulders. Leaving your hands where they are on the wall, begin to walk your feet back and shift your hips to the back. Hang your head in between your arms and push your body towards the wall. Next is a great chest opener that also really helps to alleviate tension in between your shoulders. Place the palm of one hand on the wall. Straighten the arm and begin to walk yourself away from your hand. Press both of your shoulders down and actively try to press your palm, arm, and shoulder into the wall. Hold this for about 20 seconds and do the other side. Last but not least, our standing deep stretch back bend. Now raise your hands above your head and only leave just enough space so when you do your back bend, the wall will be right behind you. Bend your knees so that your hands can find the wall behind you and begin to walk your hands down to the ground. Once your hands have found the ground, try to walk your body into the wall as close as possible. Then begin to shift your weight front and back. Each time going back, your chest should be touching the wall. Rock yourself back and forth about 5 to 10 times. Use the wall as a tool to press you deeper into your back bend. Once you're done, you can use your hands to walk yourself back up to a standing position.